90% of all addiction begins between the ages of 7 and 17, 90%, and 90% of it starts with three things: alcohol, nicotine, and marijuana. I made this word up, "it can't happen to me-ism." I put ism, I-S-M, at the end of the phrase, "it can't happen to me," and I turned it into a word, right? I call it a disease, where you don't think it's gonna happen to you. I didn't think it could happen to me. What I didn't think could happen to me was prison. That wasn't supposed to happen to me, but that's happened to me because of the choices and the decisions that I made in my life. That's the actual cell I spent the last 5 years of my incarceration in. The actual cell. I lost everything in my life. I lost everything in my life. I was a full-blown addict, and then I went to prison. But it all began at age 11. When I took that cigarette, when I drank that alcohol, when I smoked that weed, it put me on a path.
I'm literally rendered almost speechless by this presentation. It has touched and hurt me in every area, thinking of what our next generation of children is facing.
He's like, "Come on, sir, marijuana's a plant. It comes from God." And I said, okay. So does poison ivy, kid. You know, do you roll around in poison ivy?
You know, he's become the top speaker for schools in the country because you could tell, like, he lives it, he embodies it, he's passionate about it. It's not about making money and getting on stages and all that stuff for him. He genuinely just wants to impact every single person that is sitting in front of him.
60% of cancer is caused by tobacco products, and 80% of respiratory disease is caused by tobacco products. Tobacco products, cigarettes, chew, and vaping is the #1 cause of death, but here's the top three: heart disease, cancer, and respiratory disorders. I'm gonna show you something. Respiratory disorders, you see that lung? That's Mark. He was 27 when he died. That's his right lung. His left lung looked the same. His mom gave me this picture from the medical examiner, and she said, "Please show this to every kid in America." This is Eric in Grand Rapids, Michigan. At 17 years of age, he got a double lung transplant. He vaped for 18 months. 18 months he vaped, and he had a double lung transplant.
We just had an amazing experience hearing from Michael DeLeon about really the truth about drugs and what's happening right now with this whole epidemic.
Do you have somebody in your life that is always motivating you and lifting you up and telling you how good you are, how worth it you are, right? Raise your hand if you got people in your life that no matter what, they're always telling you you're never gonna amount to anything, you're never gonna be anything, right? Okay, how many of y'all got some haters, right? Listen, so you guys know this? Your haters, they're your biggest fans. They're your biggest fans. They see something in you that doesn't exist in themselves. They're hating on you because they're jealous.
To see those kids captured attention for an hour and a half, sitting quietly and just really engaged was pretty amazing, because we don't often see that with students who have really experienced some of the trauma and challenges that they have. And so I was just incredibly impressed with Michael. He connected with our students in a way that very few speakers do, and so I thought it was an amazing presentation.
In 1960, marijuana was 1%. When that kid joked with me, marijuana is a plant that comes from God, yeah. In 1960, that plant was 1%. Well, they legalized marijuana in Colorado, and in 2 years, it went from 12 to 37. So you're not smoking weed, you're not dabbing, it's not marijuana. It's genetically modified toxin resin called THC extract. This is 51 years it took to get marijuana from 1 to 12. In 2 years, it got from 12 to 37. And now, it's 100.
So, Michael hit so many key points for our youth that we were trying to convey to them that THC, alcohol are all gateway drugs to a lot worse things for your health, for your livelihood down the road.
I need you to understand, you are not vaping a harmless chemical. You are not vaping a harmless substance. You are not vaping a harmless flavor. It is a poison and a toxin on your respiratory system.
I thought I was educated. I thought I knew a lot of this stuff. I mean, my wife has been sober for years, and we've been involved in that community. And we're sitting through this presentation. I keep looking at her going like, holy crap, like this is bad. And she's got like a tear in her eye, you know?
Do you think it'll help you make better decisions?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I love when I get that email from a counselor that they had to call other counselors in, that that they were inundated by the students that were coming to their office because of our visit. That's priceless.
The students that are in the 6th grade now look forward to Michael coming back in the 7th grade. A lot of students will say, oh, I saw him last year. He's really good.
He mesmerizes an audience. People can't believe they're hearing these stories, and these people are standing here in front of them, and they've been through all this.
The message that he sent has resonated through the community. Parents come up to me, they talk about Steered Straight, they talk about choices and kids learning how to deal with certain situations, and his message really does that, really has that profound effect on kids, and the strength behind the program is unreal.
My county made me Hero of the Year. The recognition from our state Senate and state assembly has been phenomenal. We're getting recognized by the U.S. Congress and the House of Representatives. It's not me. I'm just a part of it. It's the mission that everybody shares. The greatest accomplishment is surpassing 5 million students. I never in my wildest dreams had believed that would happen. You have to be the one to say no, but not just say no. Encourage each other to say no and say yes to your life. I realized that this was my purpose in life, and my passion met my purpose. 50 states. There's 116,000 middle schools and high schools in America. 116,000. I did 708 schools in 1 year. 2019 was my record year. I might be able to break 800, but how can I reach 116,000? You can't just do it virtually. You can't put videos in front of kids. If COVID and the lockdowns taught us anything, is that virtual learning doesn't work. It's ineffective for kids. Kids don't learn virtually. They're entertained virtually, they're distracted virtually, but they're not educated virtually. We need live, engaging speakers to impact them. The spark, and then the fire to that spark, is the continuing education and the materials. I will train a speaker bureau for all 50 states. We're going to put 50 coordinators together, one for every state. Maine and New Hampshire and Rhode Island, they won't need as many speakers as Virginia, Texas, Arizona, California, but we need speakers all throughout this country. A Steered Straight Speaker Bureau, a recovery army of facilitators to go engage and impact our students so we can change what's happening in our country today. Thanks for letting me share.